The Southern and Middle Belt Leadership Forum has demanded that the 2026 Electoral Amendment Bill retain compulsory real-time electronic transmission of election results, warning that removing the provision would undermine Nigeria's democracy. In a statement signed by leaders of Afenifere, Middle Belt Forum, Ohaneze, Ndigbo and Pandef, the group insisted that Clause 60 of the bill, which mandates electronic transmission, must not be altered. They argue that the provision is essential for free, fair and transparent elections. The forum raised concerns over claims that the Senate tampered with the final version of the bill by removing the clause, citing Senate Minority Leader Inyinaya Abaribe's statement that what passed differed from what later emerged. The group dismissed arguments about poor network coverage, noting that INEC's Beavers device can store results offline and upload when connectivity is restored. They warned that Nigerians would resist any attempt to impose an altered law. Well, leader of the Southern and Middle Belt Leadership Forum, as well as Yoruba socio-cultural organization Afenifere, His Royal Majesty Oba Oladipo Olaitan joins us now for a conversation about the bloc's position on Senate's refusal to endorse electronic transmission of election results and how to build consensus towards the adoption of measures to deliver free and fair polls. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you so much.
So, sir, I would like to know the official position, of the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum and, of course, Afenifere on the Senate's refusal to endorse electronic transmission of election results.
We reject it absolutely, completely. That is not what Nigerians want, and that's it.
But then I'm wondering, looking at Nigeria's electoral history, especially the 2023 elections, with all the technical glitches that, was experienced by INEC, how significant really is electronic transmission in addressing long-standing challenges like rigging and results manipulation?
Thank you so much. I've listened to a lot of comments on this issue. One that is missing that I've not heard people talk about, and which is germane, and which me as a person have fought against for many years, is safety of mankind. If you know how many lives are lost during the elections, just because of somebody wants to snatch the box, someone is a lot. For many years, I'm talking of between late 1970s and now, we used to worry about what can we do. There's no time you have elections that you don't have people are killed needlessly. Somebody is trying to snatch the box, somebody is trying to do this. They wait in the alleyway to snatch the box and kill each other. But with this, all that will be gone. And imagine the amount of money we spend on putting soldiers, policemen around pulling goods just to secure the place. See the amount of money we waste on that. With this, all that will be gone. So nothing can be more serious than safety of human lives. Nobody's even talking about that.
Now, very well said. And what you have said is actually very germane. But then, at the same time, the issue of technical glitches still remains. The issue of coverage in rural areas. How do they deal with that? Do we have enough time to actually sort that out before the elections?
Well, okay. There's always room for anybody who doesn't want to do anything. Excuse me. Glitches. Not enough coverage. Well, we now know that we have about 98% coverage of the whole country on these internet things. So where is this one coming from? And if that is even so, assuming that it's even so, and I don't agree with it, can't we do something about it? If this is the way to save democracy, and we have to spend money to put that right, can't we do it?
Do we still have enough time between now and next year?
Of course we do. Of course we do. But nobody is even talking about, we can't do it. Nobody resigns to a life like that. If you have a problem, you solve it. You look at the pros and the cons. What do you gain from making sure that this happens, that no life is lost, and we have credible elections, than, okay, glitches. No. It's looking for excuses. It's looking for excuses. It won't sell.
So what do you think the Senate stands to gain by removing this clause, by remaining resistant to electronic transmission of results, despite public support and technological advancements that have been made so far in Nigeria?
That's the only way they can come back. That's the only way they can come back. They know what the country is saying about them. And they know, we call them rubber stamps, and we all know what to say about them. And they all know. They all know that if things are done properly, most of them won't come back. And that's exactly what they're fighting for.
So what role should the president play in all that is happening? What role should he play in guiding the National Assembly regarding electoral reforms?
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be careful in saying it. But if I don't say it, I won't be fair to my conscience and to this country. There is no way all this can be going on without the president knowing about it. That's certain. Akpabio won't be doing this unless it is sanctioned by the president. That is pure, simple. So that's what is happening. Well, you hear about establishment of police, all the states have policemen. We've been talking about that for how long now? The last time the president said, no, everybody should now go and establish at their own states. And that's it. Have you heard anything about it again? All the president has to do is send a bill to the National Assembly for the establishment of police posts. And that is done. When this is an executive bill, it goes, flies through. The government in power has the majority in the Senate and has the majority in the House of Reps. So what's the problem?
But considering the fact that these were, these were things that he agitated for when they were in opposition, why is it now so difficult to implement it now that they are in government?
Because they want to remain in power. They understand it's simple. It is a game. I'll give you a nasty example. So many years back, I'm talking about at least 70s now, the Lagos state government had this policy of free education for everybody. And then we had this Roman Catholic bishop, I don't want to mention his name, in Lagos here. And he wasn't happy about it. Why would he not be happy about it? You should ask me, why wouldn't he be happy about it? Why wouldn't they be happy? Because we were taking over the schools, we were taking the private schools together, and they didn't want that. Well, they're making their money from that place. To us, making money was not important. What was important to us was educating our people. So we insisted on that. But because they wanted their money, they didn't want it. Okay, we went around it and freedom of education, freedom of speech, freedom to impart knowledge, and they went to court. Well, I said simple. I was the special advisor to Lagos State government on political affairs in those days. And I stood up on the television program like this, and I said, look, okay, simple. We allow you to have your schools, but we regulate conditions for establishing schools. That's the duty of government. So our regulation will be, before you can establish a college or something in Lagos State, you must have at least a standard swimming pool, a standard football field. They couldn't afford it. That was how we could stop them. There's always a way out. The politicians are very clever.
Now, just before I let you go, if the Senate maintains its position, what next steps, will the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum and Afenifere be willing to take, to get what you're agitating for? And what message do you have for Nigerians who already are afraid that the elections might be compromised? 2 questions in one.
I will tell you what is going to happen. If they see that there's agitation like this, protests and things like that, they will let it pass. Then they wait for another one again. And I know what they're going to wait for. They're political thinkers. There are people in politics who do this for them. When I was active in politics, I was one of them. They're there. Look at it. It's about They try to build this, how many pages? There are so many things waiting there. So if this one, if they lose this one, they look for another one. But Nigerians should insist. I'm not going to advocate boycott because we did it before and it didn't work. And if a government is desperate, if you say you boycott, well, they will still put their figures and put their figures there. So I'm not going to advocate boycott, but I'm going to advocate insistence. There's nothing wrong with non-violent protest. This Occupy National Assembly, there's nothing wrong with it. They should sit at National Assembly for as long as it lasts. Let them sit down there. Nigerians should sit down and insist. With that, they may have a rethink.
But with what we saw play out at the emergency session of the Senate, do you really think the protests are working? Because it seems they are still giving room, to wiggle out of it.
No, they are playing on you and me. They know what to do. They know what to do. If they are watching, they are watching. They are watching. If the protesters are becoming a little bit unmanageable, they will drop it and then take another one. I can show you. I know which ones they are going to, but I'm not going to say them. There are 2 or 3 still waiting there. And if they drop this, they pick another one. Simple.
Well, His Royal Majesty Oba Oladipo Olaitan, leader of the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum and Afenifere, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thanks so much.